Once upon a time, there lived a small grey house mouse. She mostly spent her days running around, looking for crumbs of bread or old stale cheese that fell from the table. She learned to be really fast, for there was a cat in the house too. And the cat was always on the lookout for mice. Many of your sisters and brothers have perished in the sharp teeth and claws of the house cat. And one day, when our house mouse saw another of your siblings being eaten by a cat, she had enough. She called all the mice to council. "Brothers and sisters," she said, "how is it that there are so many of us and we're all afraid of one cat? How many of our siblings and elders have lost their life in the sharp claws and teeth of the house cat? Too many to count, too many to count," echoed across. "But what are we to do?" somebody shouted from the crowd. Anticipation and silence hung in the air, and all the grey-black noses stretched forward looking at the mouse. But she didn't know what the answer was. She just knew that she had enough and something had to change. And so mice left, one by one, disappointed and hungry, with no answers. As our mouse was walking side to side, mumbling to herself, and still wondering, devising a plan in her head of what indeed could be done in this situation. And so distracted she was that she hasn't noted that she made it to the kitchen floor, pacing around and still thinking, coming up closer and closer to where the cat was sleeping. And suddenly, she bumped right into him. She jumped out to the side and looked at him at the same time as the cat jumped in the air and stared back at the mouse. Paralyzed with fear, she could not move. Her whiskers twitching, nose stretched forward, ears alert. She stood on her two back paws and stretched herself as tall and as big as she could. And she started to yell. And the cat was puzzled. He'd never seen a mouse do that. It startled him. So he moved back, looking in disbelief. And soon when he felt the wall against his back, he sat down. "Why? Why are you making all this noise? And why are you not running? Aren't you afraid that I will eat you?" The mouse took the breath in. "Of course I am," she said. "But if the only choice I have whether you eat me now or a little bit later, then that is not a choice at all. And I no longer wish to be afraid of you. I don't want to live my life in fear. So, cat, if you want to eat me, then here I am, but I am not moving an inch." And she said it with such conviction that even a cat believed her. I've never seen such courage from such a tiny creature. I would love to have a friend like you. Can you teach me about courage? "Courage?" said the mouse, surprised by the cat's question. Why would you want to learn it from me? I'm just a tiny grey mouse. "Oh, dear one," said the cat, "you might be tiny, but you're so mighty. You've seen my sharp claws and teeth, and yet here you are, standing here unafraid of me. And truth be told, I could really do with a friend like you. Please teach me how to do that." The mouse sat on the ground and looked Cat straight into his green, sparkling eyes. "Why do you want to be courageous?" she asked him. "Come," the cat said, "jump on my back." And as she did, he walked through the kitchen to the sunroom and then to the garden. Softly, with his white paws touching the ground like a shadow, he reached the rose bush and sat by it. "Look over there," he said. And as the mouse did, she noticed a dog right at the end of the garden. A puppy, really, but a very large one. He was running around, barking at everything, with his big brown paws and long ears. She noticed that the cat sat there tensed, softly hissing. "The dog always attacks me," he said. "She jumps at me and shows her teeth, and I always run away, and I hate it about myself. This is why I need to be courageous. I want to stand up to this beast." The mouse jumped into the long, tall grass and ran to the puppy. She was not afraid of the dog. She seemed really kind and playful. She came a bit closer to her, observing, and noticed that the dog was looking for something. "Where is my ball? Where is my ball?" she was barking. The mouse disappeared in the grass again, and soon she came out carrying the green ball. She took it to the cat. "Here, take it to the dog. I'll come with you," she said. "You'll be all right." Cautiously, the cat moved a few steps, carrying the green ball in his mouth. And as he came a bit closer to the puppy, so the puppy could see him, he threw the ball and pushed it with his nose towards her. "Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you." The puppy was so happy to get her ball back. She jumped towards the cat and gave him the biggest lick on the face. "Thank you, dear cat," she said. "That's my favorite ball." And as the two sat together in the tall grass, they started to talk and soon found many commonalities amongst two of them. Both of them had nobody to play with, and now as they found each other, they suddenly had a playmate. And all along, Mouse sat near them in the tall grass, witnessing the bond between the two of them come into fruition. She also knew that it has been some time since the cat has eaten. She could hear his belly rumbling, and so slowly she moved back and noticed until she was back in the house. "We might be friends," she thought, "but he's still a cat."